In September 2025, Israel shocked the Arab world by launching its first-ever airstrike on Qatar, claiming to be targeting Hamas leaders in the capital, Doha. This came on the heels of years of Israeli expansion in the region following the collapse of Syria's government and military in 2024. With one of Israel's key adversaries dismantled, the Israeli Air Force has dramatically widened its operational footprint, striking targets in Iran, Lebanon, Tunisia, and Yemen and maintaining relentless pressure on Gaza. What is striking is that this expansion has been achieved without a modern fleet. Israel still relies heavily on older F-15 and F-16 fighters, aircraft that lack the radar systems, avionics, and stealth features of true 4+ or 5th-generation jets. Only a small number of F-35s supplement this force. In other words, Israel's reach is not a product of overwhelming strength, but of the weakness of its opponents. Yet, within this expanding theater of vulnerability, one Arab country stands apart. Algeria. Unlike its neighbors, Algeria has built a fortress of modern defenses that make it uniquely secure against Israeli or Western bombing campaigns. The question is, what makes Algeria untouchable? Algeria's unrivaled military shield. Since the early 2010s, Algeria has invested heavily in non-Western defense technology, sourcing its air defense and air force capabilities primarily from Russia and China. The turning point was 2011, when Libya, once a powerful neighbor, was devastated by a Western air campaign. Watching the fall of Muammar Gaddafi and the chaos that followed, Algeria accelerated its own buildup. Today, its defenses form the most sophisticated network in the region. The backbone includes S-300 PMU-2 and S-400 missile systems from Russia, HQ-9 long-range SAMs from China, a fleet of over 70 Su-30 MKA heavyweight air fighters, newer Su-35 air superiority fighters, dozens of MiG-29M interceptors, and Buk M2 short-range surface-to-air missiles. In effect, Algeria fields a layered, multi-range shield that few countries in the world, let alone the Arab world, can match. On average, its fighter fleet is decades newer than those of Israel or Turkey. Against such a force, even Western powers would face a serious challenge. Why other Arab states are vulnerable? Algeria's unique position is partly explained by contrast. Many Arab states have spent heavily on defense, but they bought almost exclusively from Western suppliers, the US, Britain, and France. This creates two problems. First, their equipment is often downgraded for export. Egypt's F-16 fleet, for example, lacks many of the capabilities found on the same jets operated by the US Air Force. Second, Western countries retain control over the source codes and impose political restrictions on how the systems are used. This ensures that countries like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Egypt cannot realistically deploy their advanced jets or missile defenses against Western or Israeli forces. The result is a region where most air defenses are politically neutered, leaving Israel free to strike at will. Algeria, by sourcing independently from Russia and China, has avoided this trap, making its skies genuinely closed to foreign bombers. Geography, a natural fortress. Beyond hardware, Algeria's geography makes it a nightmare for attackers. Covering 2.38 million square kilometers, it is the largest country in Africa, with more than 4/5 of its land dominated by desert. The Sahara, Hoggar Mountains, and Atlas Mountains form natural barriers, complicating both ground and air operations. Any external air campaign would require long-range refueling, precise navigation across vast deserts, and staging bases in neighboring states. But Algeria's borders, with 7 countries in the Maghreb and Sahel, are far from secure or cooperative. Since 2011, instability in Libya, Mali, and Niger has only increased Algeria's determination to fortify its own airspace rather than rely on regional pacts. Political legacy, shaped by history. Algeria's resistance to external intervention is also deeply political and historical. Having endured a brutal colonial experience under France, and later a devastating civil war in the 1990s, the country has developed a fierce doctrine of sovereignty. Its constitution enshrines non-interventionism, and its army holds immense legitimacy as the guardian of independence since the War of National Liberation. This legacy means that Algeria does not permit foreign military bases on its soil, nor does it submit to Western security arrangements. In a region where countries often rely on US or NATO partnerships, Algeria insists on self-reliance. That independence makes it harder for outside powers to exert pressure or compromise its defenses. Defense budgets and strategic partnerships. With vast oil and gas reserves making it the wealthiest state in the Maghreb, Algeria channels a significant portion of its income into defense. Its military budget is 6 times larger than all its Sahelian neighbors combined. Unlike many Arab states that buy prestige systems for show, Algeria invests in battle-tested platforms and comprehensive training. Its ties with China and Russia ensure access to advanced technology without the restrictions Western arms buyers face. China, in particular, has become a reliable supplier of cutting-edge systems, complementing Russia's more established role as Algeria's primary arms partner. The result is a self-sufficient defense doctrine, a military designed not for expeditionary operations abroad, but for ensuring that no outside power can dominate Algerian skies. Why Algeria stands alone. Despite its wealth and military strength, Algeria has often been reluctant to assume a broader leadership role in regional security. Its government legitimacy is closely tied to domestic stability, and leaders have historically avoided entangling alliances. Yet this cautious approach has only reinforced its independence. In practice, this means that while other Arab states remain vulnerable to Western or Israeli air campaigns, Algeria stands as the exception, a country that has combined geography, history, political will, and military investment to build an airspace that outsiders hesitate to challenge. Conclusion: Algeria's case is unique in the Arab world. It is not untouchable because Israel or the West lacks the hardware to reach it. Rather, it is untouchable because of the costs such an operation would entail. To strike Algeria would mean confronting modern Russian and Chinese air defenses, fighting through one of the most inhospitable terrains on Earth, and risking losses against a well-trained, well-equipped air force. For Israel, whose reach has depended more on adversaries' weakness than its own strength, Algeria represents a wall it cannot easily climb. And for the West, whose dominance over Arab skies has long been taken for granted, Algeria remains the one country that has truly learned the lessons of Libya and built a fortress strong enough to keep foreign bombers out.